In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this really awesome moving camera clone effect. So let's get right into the video. Hey, what's up? It's Chris from Brooker Films, and yes, in today's video, we're talking all about this really awesome moving shot cloning effect. Now, as you probably would have guessed it, you're going to need a camera gimbal in order to do this effect, and the gimbal that I'm using is the Filmmaking AK-4500. Now, the basic cloning effect is basically a case of putting your camera on a tripod, shooting in a location with next to no background movement, doing a few different actions in different spaces throughout the frame, and then using masking to cut these clones together to create this really awesome clone effect. Well, essentially that's what the gimbal is doing, but it's adding a moving twist to the traditional cloning tripod shot. So what you need for this effect is a gimbal that allows you to do programmed movements. So this gimbal basically allows you to program in a specific movement, which will take a specific amount of time, and you can repeat that same camera movement over and over and over again. And basically you're going to do the traditional method of shooting one shot in one space, shooting another shot in a different space, over and over again, but instead of tripod, you're doing it on this camera gimbal with the same camera movement. So let me just run you through the process of how to do that. So you're going to find the location with no background movement. If there's people moving about in the back of your shot, or if there's traffic passing by, then when you mask all of these shots together, traffic and people are going to be disappearing, reappearing, and it's going to look obvious that it's been edited. So find the location with no background movement. So once you've got your location, you want to set your camera to manual mode, and you want to get it perfectly balanced onto your gimbal. Now you want to place this on the floor, turn the gimbal on, and you're ready to go. So on the Filmmaking gimbal, you can swipe across, you can select the auto rotation feature, you can select the time menu and adjust how long you want the tilt and the pan axis to move for. So in my example, I'm going to select pan will be 5 seconds, tilt will be 5 seconds, and that is good to go. Then you can move on to the route, and the procedure 1 is setting the initial point. So I'm going to set that to here. Procedure 2, I'm going to set up to here. And then I can just go ahead and hit record on the camera, and the camera is going to do the movement for me. Now, once you've got that movement programmed into the gimbal, all you have to do is press the used last configuration setting, and the gimbal will just repeat that same movement over and over and over again. So essentially what you want to do is you want to press the use last configuration button, press record on your camera, make sure everything on the camera is in manual mode, by the way. You don't want any auto settings, no auto shutter speed, auto white balance. Everything needs to be manual for this to work. So once you've set this to manual, the camera's rolling, you want to select the gimbal to do its movement, you want to run into the frame, and you want to do a specific action on the shot. Now run back to the camera, press that button again, the camera's going to do its movement, run back into the shot, do a different movement in a different space, and keep repeating this process over and over and over again. It's also really important that you capture a clean plate. And for those that don't know, a clean plate is basically a shot without you in it. So go ahead, select record, use the last configuration, set the camera to move once more, and then just avoid jumping into the shot. So just have an empty shot. It's just the location. You're not in this. It's really important that you have a clean plate, because if you need to mask something out, or if you had any errors whilst you're on set, then the clean plates will help to iron out any creases that you have in the edit. So once you've captured all of your footage, you can go home, put all of your footage onto your laptop, and we can begin with the editing process for this really awesome moving camera clone effect. So let's get right into it. So once you're in your video editor of choice, I'm using Premiere Pro for example, you want to drop your footage into the timeline. Now I'm dropping this video onto the timeline, and this is all of the different maneuvers in one shot. So I'm just going to start by isolating all of the different takes. So I'm just going to scroll through to the very end. We'll press C. We'll go through to the next movement. We'll press C. We'll go to the end of that movement. We'll press C. We'll go to the start of the next movement. Press C again. Go through to the end of that movement. Press C. We'll go to the start of the next movement. That is the clean plate. We'll press C, and then we'll delete all of the takes in between. So we'll delete this, delete this, delete this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete the audio from all of these just to make our lives easier. So now we have 4 different shots. We've got our clean plates and we've got 3 different actions. So from here, we need to go ahead and match up all of those different shots to make sure they all play out at the same time. So there's multiple different ways of doing this, but I like to use a reference point on the screen. So I'm looking at this wall over here. The second that this wall touches the edge of the frame, there it goes. That's the second it touches the frame. We're going to make a cut. Now we'll scroll through to the next video. The second that that wall touches the edge of the frame, we'll make a cut. We'll do the same thing on the third video clip. The second that it touches the wall, we'll make a cut. That's around here. And we'll do the same on the clean plate. So when the clean plate touches the wall, there we go. Now we'll delete the first part of those last 3 videos. And we'll move those last 3 videos to that cut on the first video clip. Perfect. Now we can just drag all of those over to the left. We'll delete the first part of the first video and we'll drag that over to the left as well. So now we've got 4 video clips all lined up with one another. And if we just scrub through all of these, you'll notice they should all be sitting roughly at the same point of time. So from here, you just want to go ahead and you want to put your clean plate at the very bottom. So I'll drag the clean plate up, drag all of the other layers up. We'll put the clean plate at the bottom. And now we currently have the movement on the right currently at the top. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and create a brand new mask. So we'll go to opacity, select the pen tool, and we'll draw a mask around the right side of that video. Now we'll create a brand new keyframe on mask path. We'll scroll through to the end. We'll update the position of that mask. We'll go back a few seconds in time. We'll update the position again. Go back another second, we'll update the position. Just keep doing this process over and over again, making sure that this mask doesn't overlap with any of the other layers, which will potentially get rid of your other clones. So as you can see already, just by adding that one mask, we've got 2 clones in the space on this moving shot. Of course, though, imperfections do happen and some shots might not line up 100%. So the best outcome to this is to add a little bit of feathering to the mask. So on video layer 4, I'm going to go into mask 1 and we'll pull mask feather all the way up to around 150. So the feathering is throughout this entire section here. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same process for video layer 3. So if we hide video layer 3, you'll notice that the subject on video layer 2 is currently on this post. So we want the mask to be no further than this line here. So we'll turn video layer 3 back on. And we'll create a mask around the subject. So create a mask perfectly around the subject here. We'll create a brand new keyframe on mask path. We'll move this over, update the position of that mask. And like we did before, just keep doing this process over and over again, making sure that the subject is perfectly in shot. And then of course, like we did before, you just want to increase the mask feather. And if we play this back, now my computer is having a little bit of difficulty trying to play that back because there are 3 videos playing at the same time. So I'm just going to press I on the keyboard at the beginning to create an in point, press O on the keyboard at the end of the clips to create an out point. We'll go up to sequence, render into out, and the computer is just going to render all of those clips, meaning that all of those clips are going to go ahead and play really seamlessly. And there you go. As soon as that has rendered out, you should see the results of all of your hard work. Now, if there's any imperfections with any of the masks, then you can just go in and make any fine-tune adjustments. So in my example, video layer 2 is overlapping with video layer 3. So I'm just going to pull video layer 2 down a touch. Unfortunately, this does happen every now and then. And fortunately, because there are no other imperfections with this effect, I don't have to activate the clean plate. So from here, all that I'm going to do is select all 4 of those videos. We'll right click, go up into nest. We can rename this to clone. Press OK on that. We'll turn on the original layer. So we'll turn on video layer 1. And then just to avoid seeing this black video on the top left, or the overlapping video up here on the top left, I'm just going to increase the scale to 104. And there you go. As soon as you've done that, you should have this really awesome camera moving clone effect, and we did that right inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. So if you feel like you enjoyed this video or if you learned something, then please do let me know in that comment section below. And of course, if you're subscribed, then I will see you tomorrow for another brand new video. See you there.